Good morning, Astute Graphics, and thank you for taking the time to review my plugins for Adobe Illustrator. As you know, I'm an icon designer, and the projects that I work on tend to run into the hundreds and thousands of individual files. So there's a lot of tedium and repetitive tasks that can be pretty mind-numbing. So I've created a few scripts in JavaScript extension to help make my workflow a little more efficient. The three scripts I'm going to demo for you are called AI Sessions, Svg Merge, and Svg Contact Sheet. The first script is really simple. When I'm working on a project and I have maybe 4 or 5 or more files opened from different folders, it's kind of a pain if I need to switch gears and work on something else for a little while, my computer crashes or what have you, to have to go and find all of the files again. So I created the simple script that saves the file paths of the open documents into a small JSON file in my documents folder, and then anytime that I want to come back to that work session, I can just run the script in reverse and open all of those files up again. So I'll show you how that one works really quickly. You can see that I have several documents open here that I'm working on at the moment, and I can very simply go to the file menu, down to scripts, and select AI sessions. You'll see that I have a list of previous sessions, these JSON files here. So I just click save, get the feedback that my session was saved, and then close the dialog. So now if I close all of these windows, go do something else and come back, I can just run the same script again, select my last session or whichever session that I want to return to, click open, and voila, it will reopen all of the same files that I had opened previously. So that's one of the scripts. The next script that I'm going to show you is Svg Merge, and Adobe Illustrator 2015.3 introduced the export for screens feature, which allows you to save either export assets or the artboards as individual files in various formats. But I find very often that I have a folder of SVG files that I want to combine into a single file. Maybe I want to go and tweak a bunch of icons simultaneously, or send them to a client in a single file or something like that. So I created this script to be able to import all of the SVG files in a folder into a single document, and to add the SVG files to each file to an individual artboard, and then the artboard is named according to the file name minus the file extension. The only caveat is that since Adobe Illustrator limits you to 100 artboards, obviously you can only import 100 files at a time. But it's still much faster to do this, creating multiple files, than doing manually. So you can see from my preferences screen here that I can set the artboard width, artboard height, the space between the artboards, the scale of the icons, the number of columns, file name. It includes logging as well in case there's an error of some kind. You can see, you can look at the log file to see what went wrong, and then I can choose the folder. So I'm just going to click that button. I have a folder of some avatars here that I've created. So I'll click open and then click OK. And you can watch the script do its magic and import all of the SVG files very quickly. So that is Svg Merge. So the next script that I want to show you is called Svg Contact Sheet, and probably the most annoying and the most repetitive task that I and other icon designers perform is creating the preview sheets for the different marketplaces. Each marketplace has different image sizes that it requires, and you want your icons to be arranged in a nice grid of rows and columns. And it's really, really tedious to do that manually, even using Adobe Illustrator's built-in align features. It's still largely manual and really repetitive and time-consuming. So if I run Svg Contact Sheet, you see my preferences dialog here. I'll run through this really quickly. So I can set the page width and page height. That's going to be the size of the preview image, the number of columns and number of rows. I can also set the scale of the icons, specify the file name, again, the logging, and choose the folder, and you'll notice in the lower left hand corner that I have the Save Preset button. And what that allows me to do is, once I've set all of these specifications, I'm probably going to need this again in the future, so I can save those presets and not have to re-enter them again. Now, with this script, I can set the page width, page height, number of rows and columns, and this will actually run to multiple pages. So if the number of icons in my folder exceeds the number of rows and the number of cells in the grid, rows times columns, then it'll simply add a new artboard or page, and continue arranging the icons on contact sheets of that size. So I'm going to choose the same folder again as with the other demo, and then click OK. And you don't get any visual feedback on the screen here because most of what it's doing with the importing of the SVG files is happening in the background. But when it's finished, you'll see the icons appear on the page in a nice, neat grid. So thanks again for your time. These are the AI sessions, SVG Merge, and SVG Contact Sheet. Thank you.